Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome. Today we're going to be doing a L10 critique. James Long, way up there in the coldness of Iceland. We've got James, Daniel, and Richard is with us today. Hopefully, a little while, maybe a couple other people will drop in, but if they don't, that's fine. This is going to be a fun one because all of these images are just too good to be true. I got to ask you, who did you shoot to get these fabulous images? Or maybe I shouldn't do that. It's kind of a slap in the face in one hand and a
Well,
the other is.
well, I don't know. I've had mixed feelings about a couple of them, but there's a couple of my favorites in here as well. So I've kind of mixed it up with some that I want some real help with, but others I just kind of wanted to also show that I like. So yeah, some of these are, I would say, I rate as some of my best stuff, and I've been trying to kind of do more of some similar stuff from what I've done in these six. I'll show you as we go through, I guess.
All right. Well, just make sure that you don't put too much time and effort into these images that you're creating that are earth shattering and they're amazing.
I'm focusing on film at the moment. I tell you now, that'll be back to basics when you see those developed photos. When I send you those through, I mean that'll show you that there's quite a lot of editing's gone on to these.
All right, because I still need you to save time so that we can get this cohort trip going to Iceland.
Yeah.
For next year, because we definitely want to do that. So I want to start moving forward on that too.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, what I'm going to do here is I am going to share my screen. Now we're going to try something different today. So let's see if she works. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Share which screen? We're going to share screen too and see if this works.
Looks good.
Okay, you've got it.
Yeah, I've got screen too. Yeah.
And I'm gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can still see you guys, so that's a good thing. What I've done is I've got your 6 images here, and we'll just start at number 1 and go through them.
Can you maximize it?
Yes, I'm going to do that right now. And we can do better than this because this is a big screen.
Excellent.
Oh, we can do better than that.
I know, but I mean,
is that okay?
Yeah.
Don't make it too big.
Oh no, we're gonna do some pixel peeping on this. So
not on this one. Not on this one. Of all the ones, not that one.
All right. So tell me about this image. Not only the when, the where, the how, but I want to know the why too.
Okay. This is a hot spring about an hour from where I live, and it's not a very visited place actually, but I'd never been there before, but I was just walking around with my cousin there, and we came across where the biggest vent was, and so this is kind of pumping out a sort of huge stream of steam and hot gases. And I don't know when, a few years ago, there used to be a walkway that went where the vent is now, but an earthquake happened and the walkway fell in and it's gone now. So we saw this, and the weather was kind of quite still for Iceland, so the steam was kind of around it. So I noticed that it kind of isolated the walkway, and it looked like the walkway was kind of going down into the vent. So the reason I took it was because it kind of suggests walking off or going off down into the vent that's opened up there. So I chose to try and take the picture and isolate out quite a lot of the background, because actually behind it is a lot of rubbish actually. So this was the best crop I found for it, and the way to kind of show this walkway going through. And it was handheld because I didn't take my tripod with me because I didn't know whether there was much to photograph. So it was handheld, and
okay.
And we we were just waiting for the right conditions and the right amount of steam. So I've got a few photos of this where there's too much steam over it. I've got some where there's not enough, so you can actually see quite a bit what's in the background. But this one was the best combination of the kind of light coming through from the back and the amount of steam kind of just covering off the far side of the walkway, which has disappeared.
All right. Very nice, very moody image. Was there danger in being here of poisonous gases?
No, it just smells of eggs.
Well,
it's not dangerous. Well, it would have been dangerous if you were on the walkway when it happened, but I don't know when that happened, or I think it was in the night time or something.
all right, yeah, because sulfur can be dangerous.
Yeah.
And the other volcanic gases. Okay, so let's see. This was F5.6 at 1/60th at ISO 100 and handheld.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Which camera are you using on this?
The 80D Canon.
Which Canon?
The 80D, 80D.
Okay, all right. Why didn't you think about pumping the ISO up to say 800, 1,000?
Well, I snapped away a few, and I was at first, a couple of things. The light was actually stronger when I was taking them initially, so this is actually a sort of slightly a dimmer shot than I had. So it was I was getting kind of 120th and faster shutter speeds. This is actually one of the slower ones. So I didn't need to at the time because it was a bit brighter before. And B, if I can handhold at ISO 100, I will, just to avoid the noise issues, because it is APS-C camera, and it works all right up to about ISO 400. I would say anything above 8 at 400, it annoys me. So, yeah.
We're going to come back to this as we get more into this image, but why don't we talk about the image itself? I love the composition. I love the diagonal starting down in the lower left and going up to the upper right. This works very well. And then we have a second diagonal starting down in the lower right and going right into the center and disappearing into the steam through the crumbled boardwalk. That's very, very well thought out. The crop works well for me. Everything about this image is pleasing. It's moody. It's dark. I like the combination of the white steam and the darker blue behind it. This carries a lot of mood, a lot of information. Okay. Are you pleased with the results?
Yeah, I am. It's one of the first ones where I kind of had really, when I saw it, I had in mind the crop because of the 3x2 shape and what else was there. At the time, I thought, yeah, this is better as a wide shot. And it was one of the ones where I could picture the final image whilst I was there and what I wanted to portray. Yeah. Because I call it Journey to the Center of the Earth, which in the book it starts in Iceland in another place.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that. So I was thinking of all these things when I was taking the photo. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I like everything about it except for one thing. Oh, and by the way, I can't find any dust bunnies on your sensor. I did a quick look.
I've done a check on mine.
Okay, you notice that was the first thing I was looking at.
Yeah.
All right. It's a wonderful image. It's powerful, but it's soft.
It is.
It is. It has a lack of sharpness in every single location within the image. There's, it's not that it's unusable. It is usable.
Yeah.
But you see that there are no sharp, crisp edges anywhere in the image. And this is not the fault of the scene. It's not the fault of the camera. This was a basic mistake the photographer made.
Yeah.
Okay, you number one, You shouldn't have been hand holding it. But unfortunately, you did not have your tripod with you, so you were forced to do so.
Yeah.
So we've set ourselves up in bear territory. Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. I don't think that it's a throwaway image. I think it's very salvageable. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, maybe something as simple as applying just a wee bit of structure.
Mm.
Okay.
I should also point out it was about -15 on this day as well. That's why I didn't take the tripod out. We literally ran out from the car to this location for a bit.
That's cold. Now,
Really cold.
that warm things up a bit.
Pardon?
Being next to this volcanic vent, does that warm things up a bit?
No, because if you look where the steam is, it's going ahead of us. So where I was stood in the non-steam bit, it was cold. I was stood on ice.
Okay. Let's look at this.
It's also one of the reasons I did put it in is because I knew it was soft, and I know it's soft, but because it's the capture is kind of what I wanted.
Yeah.
One of those where I've gone and just made that decision to go, you know what, I want to. Not all images have to be 100% sharp. As if you pixel people, I wouldn't necessarily print this large and put it on a wall, but yeah, that was one of the reasons I did put it in.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just looking at it, and I see that we can bring out highlights just by adding structure. Okay. But what I want to see is if we can bring out the sharpness and do something with that, specifically on the areas that our eyes are drawn to. So let's just go with that real quick, just by dropping a wee bit of structure, and let's let it work its magic. There we go, all done. Well, that added a lot of noise, but it did draw in, it did sharpen up the edges a little. Unfortunately, that did make too much noise. You tried this, didn't you?
Yep. I decided to make it feel a bit more kind of like dreamy looking. That's my excuse.
So let's get rid of that. Did you try any of the edge sharpening tools that would grab the edges and do some sharpening?
I tried a variety of sharpening things. I can't remember exactly what, but yeah,
like smart sharpen. I always think that that works very, very well.
Oh no, show me that. I haven't used this.
All right, let me bring up the control window. What it does, it looks at the overall image and it looks at components, and it won't sharpen everything, but it will look for the real contrasty edges and do those, but leave this kind of stuff alone. Okay. But there's all kinds of presets and things that you can do. And it's the same controls, the amount, radius, and then it has a noise reduction also, but you got to be careful with that because you see how it took the noise out of the image, but it also took too much edge crispness away. So you bring the noise back down.
There's one thing we maybe
like this area right here.
Yeah.
Here we're seeing some pixelization, some noise.
We also just as one of the other things I saw, or even on the sharper images I had, was there's a bit of heat haze as well, but I don't know how much effect that will have generally, but there was some heat haze kind of that made it hard to see sharpness when I was sharpening things up on other ones.
Well, let's take a look at this here real quick. And there are several tools in Photoshop that work very, very well for overcoming these kind of issues. That did a little bit better. I want to look at the overall noise level of this image as well. let's just do a real quick check.
I ran it through Topaz denoise, actually, I think, particularly on the steam areas, but I can't remember how bad it was.
Well, see, I like this because I don't care about down here. I'm not looking to remove noise from this area. It's up here in the sky, and it looks really good. If you look at the lower right-hand window, it shows the before and after.
Yeah.
Down here, say this is before and this is after noise reduction. As I move the mouse across, and it is cleaning it up a bit up here, and it's not taking any of this kind of the sharp edges, a little bit of the grunge. It's not taking anything away there. Let's run with that real quick and see what that looks like. There are a lot of denoising plugins. But you guys know me. Who I like the best. I like the Nick. I love Define, and see, there's just absolutely nothing now. It just took every bit of grain or pixelization away from the steam area that was there before. It left it here where we want a little bit of that, because having some noise in the edges will add to the overall sharpness effect, and that helped. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that the image is yours, and it has to be your vision. Okay. And these suggestions are my first impression, because I just saw these images a half hour ago for the first time.
Yeah.
Of things that I look at and I say, well, we can improve this. We can take some of the noise out of this steam. Okay.
Yeah.
I would still want to work down here a little bit. Another good tool for you to play with would be the tonal contrast in Color Effects Pro. Have you played with that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay, that would work really good on this image.
Yeah.
But I like the range of tonalities that you've achieved here. I mean, this works very well. The steam with the blue in the background. Is this the sky behind the steam that's causing the blue?
No, it's kind of it's on a hillside, so it's like got snow and ice and kind of in the background.
Okay. All right.
But it's early. It's quite early morning, so the light is a bit blue on the ice and snow.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see this on a big glossy metal print.
I'm gonna go back. I want to go back here with the film camera. I want to go back here with my tripod. I want to explore it more. We had probably only 10 minutes there because of the cold day it was, and I've been trying to get back there this week, but the weather is just too bad. So yeah, it's one I like the image, and I'm not saying I want to take it again, but I definitely want to have a tripod, and I definitely want to try it with a film camera, and I want to explore the area around here because there's lots of hot springs.
Like you said, I mean, the heat may be playing with us too here on the sharpness of these rocks back here.
Well, yeah, I've noticed this on a couple of photos recently. I've got heat things, and you'll see on one of the other ones maybe in a bit that I noticed it with Richard as well the other day, that we had a cold haze or whatever it's called. I'm not quite sure. So anyway.
Okay, very good. I love the image. It was a good image. It gave me an opportunity to talk a little bit about post-processing, which I always enjoy. All right, well, tell us about this one.
Okay, this one is, you might see this one again soon, actually, because this was where I went and took my first film shots, because it's about 5 minutes from where I live. There's a little abandoned blue house that sits on this hill. And I've always kind of been trying to figure out and wanting to go and shoot it. So there was this really nice evening. Well, actually, I say it's evening. This was probably about 3 o'clock. in the afternoon, but we get golden hour in the winter. So I wanted to go and shoot it in the golden hour because the sun sets off to the right and lights up the front of the house, and the blue colours, a very rich blue colour of house there. So I've always I like how the house just kind of sits on its own and it's kind of abandoned, and I found a composition that has the what they called telephone poles going off and to the right there. So yeah, it's just the color. I like the tones and the colors. I did say to Richard I kind of almost wanted a bit more snow at the front, but he quite liked the texture of it, but I'm still not sure. But yeah, it's just a location I like.
Go ahead, Richard.
And I said I kind of liked the texture and the fact that it wasn't pure white, because the browns and the grass kind of play into the warmth of the sun on the building and the sky, but I may be off.
No, you're absolutely right. It balances the image.
Also, from a technical standpoint as well, it took quite a bit from what we did in the last critique and learning from removing of objects and stuff. So in terms of framing it, this is about the only composition you can have without having other farm buildings and poles in it. But I've also removed a couple of poles from it as well, other telegraph poles that are sticking up and stuff like that. So where the trees, you look where the trees are, the little copse of trees, where the fir tree in the middle is, there was a telegraph pole right in front of that, which I got rid of, and it was just good practice for that. And I got rid of a couple of poles that were going up the pathway, but I left some of them in deliberately.
Okay. We did a good job with the removal of the pole. I'm not seeing any artifacts.
Yeah, I've been really practicing.
I've seen a major bit of sharpening here that's showing up around the edge, but we're zoomed way, way, way in. And when we go back out to a normal viewing angle, you don't notice that at all. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the white lines?
I can't see those.
You'll have to look. You have to zoom in on your own computer later on.
Yeah, I'll have a look later. I can't quite see.
The computer sharpens. What it does, it'll put a ultra thin white line around the things that you want to sharpen. So like even around this pole that's holding the antennas, there's a white line, and that can get out of hand sometimes, and it happens to all of us. It happens to me.
No, yeah, I hadn't noticed that before. But when I zoom right in on that, you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But on this image, I don't. Once you look at the image, you're really not going to see that haloing in this image.
No, because we were zoomed way, way in.
Right.
No, I love the composition of this. We've got a bunch of things working in your favor here. We've got this little S curve happening right here. I know it's not much of one, but it's still there, and it's very pleasing to the eye. I like the placement of the house. I had first thought that maybe if we move the house down to about here, that might be better, but that was just a first impression, and now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like the house centered, because honestly, the white snow and the brown grasses or dirt, whatever this is down here, really do counterweight the sky, and it makes for a very balanced, beautiful image. The telephone poles, this is a very good call. It's another line that's working. That's going off into the infinity. And it's a very pleasing image.
Thank you.
This may be one of the nicer ones I've seen in a long time.
That's good. Thank you.
This would be an image that I'd be proud to hang in a gallery.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, my question was the same as yours, and I just wanted to hear your opinion. Is like, should you take a little bit off the bottom or not? And I just don't know.
Yeah, well, like I said, that was the first thing I was thinking of, because we really don't have the house set on one of the PowerPoints, but those are just guides. Those aren't hard, fast rules. I mean,
It's a gorgeous image. The colors and
Well, the reality as well. I mean, you know, you can process images to have these cut. This was what it was like. There's not that much I've done to bring out that color. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been quite lucky on nights when we get good sunsets here in the winter when it's cold. You do get
There's
these
so many images in this. I mean, you could crop into this and do an image just of the building like this.
Yeah.
Okay. You could also do the same thing with these. I mean, look how pleasing this is. Let me zoom out just a wee bit. Okay. Look how pleasing that is all by itself.
Yeah.
Okay. This one image has so many possibilities.
That's why I went there with my film camera for the first shot I took. I would have done there, I think, I can't remember what I took exactly, but I think I've pretty much tried to replicate a similar image with the film camera just because I know the composition worked originally. But you're right, there's a few other things there.
No, I love this. I love the house. Of course, with the house, we're going to have to go in a little bit more because this is distracting. You don't want the wires.
I've actually got another version of this where it was later and the sky was purple, and I actually it's a closer in shot of the house, and the first telegraph pole and the wires go out the frame, so it goes out the frame and kind of suggests where suggests where it goes, but it's not as good as this one.
Yeah, well, so the thing of it is the wires disappear here.
Yeah.
And that would be a negative aspect of the composition if the wires were to exit the screen, because that would take our eyes right out of the screen.
Yeah.
All right. And like I said, I mean, if we were to recrop this and do something like this, I mean, this is pleasing too. This is a real tough call.
I did do this. I did do this. I kind of like the way to the foreground against the sky, funnily enough.
Yeah, but this might be good as a panorama too.
Mm.
And if you do decide to do a panorama version, then take the bottom off.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe take some of the sky off here at about this level.
Yeah.
If you decide to do a panoramic interpretation as well, but no, this works.
The hill at the bottom left is a nice little anchor point.
Yeah.
On that crop, the panoramic crop.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is. Now, if you do it in canvas, of course, then you'll lose this too, because that'll end up right about here.
Yeah.
Just remember, there's a wraparound in canvas.
Yeah.
But no, this is a very, very well done image. I like this a lot. I might tweak the brightness and saturation of these grasses here.
Yeah.
Okay. And these grasses here a little, and maybe brighten up this blue face here, just a little. But until you actually tried it, you don't know if that's going to detract, because it's obvious that this is, early sunrise or late sunset, and having that darkness adds a mood to it.
Mm.
So, but there are always alternative ways to look at an image.
Yeah.
I like it the way it is, and I can see other images in here. So don't forget that. You may want to come back and revisit this for something different later on.
Oh yeah, I'm going to spend some good time up here over this year, see how it changes with the weather.
Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you. This one. What am I looking at? This is an abandoned, I think it's a farmhouse. We have loads of these abandoned farmhouses around the country. This one's just out of town. It's on the south coast. Oh no, on the peninsula near Reykjavik, and it was the icy, really cold day with quite a harsh light to it. So I basically saw this abandoned farmhouse with the road here, stopped the car, and took a few pictures. I've taken this with a black and white film. The reason I converted this into black and white is because a couple of things. The colors were a bit funny. The grass color was a bit odd because of the winter kind of, I don't know, die off or whatever it is. But the contrast in the sky colors, I think, work better in black and white. So I've taken a film shot of this as well, which would be interesting to compare it to. But yeah, it's one I kind of, it's a black and white one. I don't do much black and white. I thought it would work well in black and white. So it's kind of one of those ones I wanted to bring in for an opinion on, really.
No, black and white gives this image much greater power. I'm just looking at other crops. I mean,
yeah,
it works the way you did it. I mean, it does. But on this one, the center, which is the horizon here, is a little too high. I mean, this picture looks unbalanced to my eye. Even a small change like this, okay,
yeah,
would make this more powerful. Or like, let's see here. Yeah, or like that.
yeah.
All right. But everything's here. I mean, again, there's different things that you can do with this image that work. I think I like something like this a little bit better. It's a little bit pleasing, a little bit more pleasing. There's just my eye is just drawn to this point immediately when I look at the image, and I miss the road, I miss the grasses, which are stunning. I'm not paying too much attention to the house. I am noticing this line and the silvery sky. This is what catches my attention. Okay, now it's like that. All right.
Yeah. This is definitely somewhere that needs a lot more. I think there's a lot more potential for other compositions. I didn't do them on this day again. No, I don't know really. There's not really a reason for it. It was hard to get up this road. I couldn't get any further up this in the car, and yeah, it was just one. It was a place it was almost like a scouting trip, this version of it, whereas I think there's lots of opportunity to go back again.
And even if we crop some off the bottom to move that center down a little bit, then the house is in the dead center, and that just doesn't work either. So if we come over here a little, that makes it better, but it's still not quite right. If we go this way, this works. I mean, if you want a standard size image,
is the road too vertical?
It works better for me, kind of like this.
Yeah, I feel the road, and my feeling is the road is too vertical a line on this one.
Well, the other thing that you could do with this, which would just solve all of those issues at once. Let's fit it to the screen. Let's go here and do this. Okay, something like this. Now, I don't mind the fact that this is greater than halfway up, because now the road is just, I am jumping into the image visually right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going right to the house, and I'm going back and forth, and this works much better.
It's a vertical, isn't it?
As a vertical, it does. It works much better.
That's what it is.
And James, remember I wanted the road in the lower left corner?
Yeah.
But I couldn't figure out how to make it work.
You're right. And then putting it into verticals, done it.
Now, aside from a lesson in cropping vertical or horizontal, that there should be a bigger lesson here. And that's that when you're out in the field, if it's worth taking horizontally, it's also worth taking vertically. Every picture you take, you should be flipping that camera over into the horizontal or the vertical mode after you completed the other.
Okay.
Because if we had the full resolution of this camera behind a crop like this without cropping it, we can do way, way more with it too.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And this is going to be especially important with your film camera as well.
Exactly, because I've got the horizontal version with the film camera.
But yeah, I think that this works. This solves all of those problems that were just kind of nagging in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I agree. And that's been nagging. It's been nagging me as well. That's why I put it in here. Is why I wanted to do it, because it's just, I think there's potential in this location.
And
it's easy to get to as well, so I can go back easily.
Yeah, I love the silvery colored sky. I love the clouds. It's moody. It's dark. I love the road. See, now the road doesn't become. I mean, if we take this away, the road's kind of ho hum.
Yeah.
All right. The house is dead center. It's bullseye, and I go, need to do something with this. Something's nagging at me, So I started dragging it around and decided if we were going to do a horizontal shot that this was better.
I asked James if he could go to either side, and he said it was real boggy there, so the field wasn't a good place to start walking off into.
Yeah, I tried to go further left, and on the left it was boggy, but also when you went further left as well, you lost the end of the house, so it ended up looking like just a flat on pitch, flat on kind of the house. So you lost the perspective side. So there were two things that weren't ideal that day.
Well,
I would take this one as a scouting shot, I think.
Well, like I said, a vertical crop will work much, much better on this. It really, really will. Okay. Now let's do that again. Look how I can place that house right on that nodal point. Okay. I think that's a much more powerful image. I mean, the shot is fantastic.
It's good.
Okay. It truly is. You have multiple images again in this that you can work with.
Yeah.
But like I said, you've got to start thinking in terms of landscape and portrait. And when you took this image, you needed to take it this way also.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's better if we could have the full data from the sensor in a portrait mode version of it like this. Then you could blow it up bigger. You could do more with it in post. Fabulous.
Good.
Fabulous. And don't mind these little tiny criticisms, okay?
No, I thought it's good. I deliberately brought that one in because it wasn't something I wasn't 100% pleased with, but I couldn't figure out why. So I wanted an opinion on it, definitely.
All right, tell me about this one.
This was from my little expedition a few weeks ago, where I was driving around a location I hadn't been to in the west of Iceland. And what I wanted to do, I stopped where this location was because there was some really nice sunrise behind me going on as well. But it's one of the places I kind of think shows what the Icelandic roads are like here, or can be like, where it's just empty, where you're the only person there. So I stopped here because I thought the road had a nice line up to the ridge line at the top. We actually had some snow. I've got another version of this with snow tornadoes up on the ridge, but it's more zoomed in. But I also used this one as practice from the last critique in removing stuff. So there's actually quite a few bits missing or taken out that I cleaned up from this, including there's a weather station that was on the right. This fence continues off and up around the road, but looked really messy. And I've deliberately left the fence in up to this point, specifically because...
Oh, I like that. I like what you did.
I have a version which I took it out and there was no texture in the snow on the right. So I left this in specifically to draw the eye and show that there's a hill that it kind of goes down and round. And I've taken out the little snow road marking. So it's just a simple road through. So it's more just a is just trying to create a simple image of the landscape with the emptiness of the road, as I was the only person there. I hadn't seen anyone for like 15 minutes. And yeah, that was the idea behind it.
Okay. All right. Give me a second here. All right. That's what I wanted to see. This is an amazing shot. This just works very well for me. I like everything about this. I like the texture of the snow and the fact that it's not blown out so you lose all the textures. I like the textures up here in these little peaks. Although, do you notice here how we have more contrast here?
Yeah.
I wonder if carrying that contrast enhancement across to this one would make this a little bit more powerful.
I think, what's it? I'm not sure why that's come up like that on there. It's not like that on my Lightroom, but yeah, you're right. It's more balanced on mine. I'm not sure why that's come through like that.
Well, let's just look real quick. I'm gonna put I'm navigating with that lower right hand window. I'm just going to create a point there. I'm going to drop that down. Don't worry that the rest of the picture is changing around it. I just bring in those blacks a little, and then I'll put an anchor point around it to bring that all back. Okay. Just so that we can carry this dark contrast over here. And you might want to do it here on this line here too. See how it's going down towards the road?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? I'll show you the before and after.
Yeah, it's either with it or actually reduce the contrast on the right-hand one, because it's...
No, I don't think that it takes away from the image. I think that it actually gives an anchor point, because we can't use the road for that.
Yeah, it leads it through as well.
Okay. I like this. I like the two diagonals. We have a diagonal here with the mountain. We also have a diagonal being created with dark rocks coming down and around. All right. Hey, Carl. Welcome.
Hey, welcome back, Mark.
Thank you. Your treatment of the fence was brilliant. It just was. That was inspired. Okay, I like the way you did that. There's a little tiny quirk. There's almost too much snow over here.
Yeah.
And I was kind of playing with that earlier in a panoramic style crop again. Just bringing it down a little bit more like this so that there's less on this side of the elbow.
Yeah.
That balances the image better between the left and the right hand side than if we go back to this. It's like my eyes want to follow the road.
Yeah.
But actually I'm following the edge of the road in the snow, and I kind of swirl around over here.
Yeah.
When I should be following the road out and then back through these contrasts here.
I wanted him to destroy the picture.
How so?
I suggested if he had someone who could drive a car up on the road way up at the top, that it would be another anchor point.
Yeah, something. And
Yeah.
look here, there is something up here.
Yeah.
All right. But we could do away with that with just a simple crop like this. Keep the road down here in the lower right hand corner. That's brilliant. just take away some of the snow over here
Hmm.
and adjust it if you like it. And don't go too far because we want this moody sky as well. But I think this works. This works a little bit better. It's a little bit more powerful.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It's another one of those ones where I liked it, but I couldn't quite figure out what I didn't like about it as well. The only reason I didn't crop too much is because I quite like the sky as well. But
Well, I mean, I like the sky too, but you can have too much of a good thing.
yeah, exactly. It could do with coming down a bit lower, couldn't it?
Yeah, the sky becomes the main character in this play, but really it's not. And it's hard to tell what it is. It's either the road or the fence or these rocks. I'm not sure. Or a combination, because if you follow the road, make the turn to the right. I mean, we're going right up into this ridge and across these dark rocks. It makes a complete loop.
Yeah,
And the sky doesn't help us for that one way or the other.
yeah,
So things to think about, okay?
yeah, definitely.
Love this.
Hey, Mark, what do you think about if that was a high key? My eye goes to that big blue spot in the right-hand corner in the clouds. And if that was more faded and the picture was more high key, that road would really show up and the tonalities would balance.
Well, it would, but there's also something to be said about doing it this way and having less of the sky. But this dark spot here and the dark spot here add a mood to this. And if we were to take that out totally.
What dark spot are you talking about? I'm on my phone and I can't see the cursor.
The dark spot just above the right-hand top.
Yeah, okay, that's the one I'm talking about.
And the road's going off into this dark spot here. I think that adds a bit of mood to it. I see your point about the high key. Personally, that doesn't work for me. I like the mood that the dark sky gives us because we're dealing with two areas here. We've got these dark contrasting rocks in the peaks. Okay, we've got the dark road coming in and exiting here. And we've got this thing working as stair steps again. You know, we have dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And it gives us this ladder, this set of steps that we can take our eyes on a walk this image through. And I think we would lose a lot by removing these two. I do understand. And there is something that we can try. Quick, and we'll go down into we'll go down into color effects. Okay. And just to try something, we're going to go up here. Let's see. I don't use this one very often. There we go. Let's add some fog to take away that blue. Kind of like that. Is this more what you're thinking, Carl?
Let me look at it. Yeah, more in that direction, yes. But now it's too bright in the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's just a matter of adjustment. See, we can change that by adjusting blend.
But that's the right idea, what I was thinking of. But somehow it kind of took away from some things, didn't it?
Well, it doesn't allow us to isolate the top of the peaks from the sky.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said about that, because this really isolates the peaks and the road here in the saddle. All right.
I like the saddle. I like the sky in the saddle. I was just trying to bring the road out more.
Yeah, but like I said, I do think that we need to do something more along this line here. Less sky, because the sky becomes too major of a part in the image.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And a bit of snow over here is too much. It unbalances the image. But I think this works much better and gives you a bit more power in the image.
I like the crop much better.
Again, these are just suggestions.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to be back in the same locations and areas in the next couple of weeks, or actually next week, in fact. So I'm going to perhaps revisit things a little bit when I'm there.
Okay. All right. Wow. Tell me about this. Is this a fog bank? Or is this just low cloud?
This is low cloud. I can't see it. Where are you? Let me have a look. There we go. Yeah, this was about 5 minutes further along the road from the last photo. I was just driving along, and I looked as I was going along. I just saw off to my left there were just quite a few abandoned, well, not abandoned, but they weren't being used at that time, farm buildings. So the sun was just coming up, and I noticed these waves of cloud that were kind of over the mountains behind. You can see it's just covering, there's a peak behind that's covered there. So it was a low bank of cloud, then there was this mid bank behind it, and then it was actually clear above. But I think this house is one of these houses that doesn't see sunlight for about 5 months of the year or something. So I kind of was waiting there, funnily enough, to see if the sun would come through and hit the house at all, but it never got high enough to do it whilst I was there. So I took this because I like the atmosphere. There was wind blowing the snow around, and it was bitterly cold. In fact, it was really windy. I was sheltered behind the car taking this photo. But this bank of cloud was just trying to roll over, but it never came forward. So it just created these lines. I have taken this one. I did take this vertically and horizontally. This one vertically works better because of the bands, but the horizontal one, actually, I was editing it and playing with it today. It looked really good as well, but just it has a slightly lower down but wider. You can see the mountain slightly wider, but this is the one that I went for, that I think.
Okay. All right.
We've got a slight road.
It is a lovely, and you have lots of power, lots of elements in here. But when you're standing here and you're looking at the scene, and you're thinking about the composition, you have to ask yourself some basic questions. What adds to the scene and what detracts from it?
Yeah.
Okay. If we ask ourselves that question, could you give me some answers, please?
I think the layers of cloud add to it, hence the vertical. That's why I went vertical with it, the different layers, because they kind of step you through. I'd say maybe, I don't know. I think maybe the light on the left is quite bright, but I did leave it deliberately bright because it was like that, kind of trying to get through. If you also, the power line could detract from it, but I left that in deliberately. If you look on the left of the image, there's a little mound there. There was another power line and telephone lines going across, which I've removed totally. Because that definitely distracted. So I've left the one power lines in.
No, I like the power lines. I think that adds a compositional element that supports the image.
Okay.
All
but
right.
I removed the other one because they were too big and over there. Maybe it's a little bit too much at the very top, but.
All right. Okay. Now we're gonna do the same exercise, and only this time I will talk.
Yep.
If it doesn't add to the image, then remove it. Okay. All of this open space at the bottom doesn't do a thing for this image. There's nothing compositionally down here that adds any power or any mood to this image whatsoever.
Okay.
All right. This area up on the top, while I do like these misty clouds up here, the light is too bright. And because of this light, my eyes I'm not seeing any of this when I look at this image. I'm just right here. This is where my eyes are going to. Now, I was gonna slap your hands over the horizontal versus vertical, but then you came back and said you did do a horizontal version of this. So yeah. 2 points, okay. So let's change this a little bit. Let's do a box size. Actually, let's look at it as standard 16 by 20 size first. That's not too bad. What we've got here now is we've got a nodal point almost on top of the house. We've got the bands. We have this orangish band. We've got the low clouds that are rolling and real moody. We've got the house. We've got the power line. We're getting rid of some of this here too. This is an improvement. But if I were to drag this down and add that bright spot, again, my eyes go right to this bright spot, and I'm not seeing anything else here, except for maybe I'm glancing at the powerful clouds here once in a while. But this becomes the main focal point right here. All right, so let me make another change here. I'm looking for something else. Box, there we go. Down a little bit more below this. I mean, you see what I'm getting at here?
Yeah.
For this image, a horizontal works much better and creates a much more powerful shot. And the 16 by 20 actually seemed to work better.
I can't see what you're doing.
I changed the crop.
No, sorry, it was just Carl's up there. I couldn't see what you were doing. You put it onto what, 16 by 20?
16 by 20 is all
okay, cool.
All right, I'm going to come in a little bit further. I'm going to move the house up on that 1/3 line. Okay, like that. And this, I think, highlights the main subject of your composition, which are these rolling clouds. I like the wire, the poles too. All of this space down here that didn't do a thing for the image, having it gone will improve it.
Yeah.
Having the this bright spot up here helps. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You see where I'm going with this? You did shoot it horizontally, which helps.
Yeah. I haven't got it to hand because I haven't got it on mine.
And I want to bring out one more thing here for you to look at. What do you consider the main compositional element in this?
The main one.
Yes.
The cloud banks.
This one?
The main one, yeah.
All right. If that is the case, then you should look at adding just a wee bit to that cloud bank, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Making it a bit more moody by going to the darker areas, like right in here, and adding a little bit more dark to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just carry that around. And wherever there's darkness, we're going to enhance that. Now, don't worry over the fact that the white darkened up, because we'll go back and we'll draw an anchor point on these white areas, which will further increase contrast.
Yeah.
Between here and maybe, yeah. Okay, so let me say okay to that. And I want to show you a before and after. If this is our main compositional element and we like it because of the power of those clouds,
Yeah.
Don't you think adding a bit of contrast like this makes those even better?
I can't. Hello?
We're getting bad feedback.
I think it might be Carl's thing. I can only see Carl on the video.
There, that stopped it.
Sorry, trying to fix it now.
Okay. But you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah, and weirdly, I'm on my screen. I've got more contrast than the image you had originally. So I don't know if that's down to the calibration of our screens are slightly different, but I've done that. But you're right.
Across the internet now, from me back to you, isn't going to be the same. All right, but you may also want to put another control point down here on the snow on this ridge and whiten that up a bit too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. That's what I was wondering about.
All right, and then maybe darkening up the rock face. All right. So, I mean, you know, we sit and we look at these images and we talk about them, and as we make changes, then other changes become a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
Okay. I am very thankful though that you did take another shot of this horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't edit on this one. I would go grab that horizontal shot and work on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but you understand what it is that I'm trying to show.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Wonderful image. God, I wish I could spend some time up there. Ooh.
Where are we?
All right. Tell us about this image.
I had a good chat with Richard about this one. This is a viewpoint and a very famous kind of tourist snapping point of this particular location. So what you have here is you've got this famous old house in the front, and then on the left you've got a little volcano, and then if you look directly above the roof, you can just see in the background the mountain there, which is the glacier, very famous glacier and volcano. And yeah, this is a very photographed scene. If you Google search the location I was at, you can pretty much see this scene, but not as it is with the winter and the snow. It's always taken in the summer. So when I was talking with Richard about choosing which ones to bring through, I told him I don't like this image because I felt it's very much a done image, and he's encouraged me to really look at it, and I do like it. I need to do more work in it in a couple of areas with things like there's a couple of distractions on the left with the bins that have been left in, but I wanted to bring it forward because it's a very classic image of Iceland. This, if you search for this location in the west of Iceland, you will always see this view because there's a platform where you stand to take this photo. You don't have a choice of where you can be because you're on a cliff. So it's a very classic view of Iceland and image. But my interpretation of it in the winter is pretty much the only one that's out there that we could find. So
this is very unique for this location. The lighting, the sky, everything. And then when I was looking at these pictures on the left side, he cropped out a big building. So this is the crop that he had to use.
Okay.
Yeah, because we originally had this is a wider crop than it was before, because on the bottom right as well, there's actually the beach and the sea coming in. So there's a few distracting elements. It's not very key.
How far away are you from that beach?
It's below off the cliff that I'm stood on.
No, so there's a gorge right here in front of you that goes down?
Yeah, so I'm stood on like a platform, a wooden platform sticking out of a cliff, and the cliff kind of loops around in front and goes off to the right.
Could you have moved further to the right?
No, there's nowhere to go. There's just a platform. It's literally, you have the place you can put your tripod, which is why everybody has pretty much this perspective, and which is why I don't really like it. I stopped there and got it because I was there, but at the time I wasn't that inspired by it on the day. But have revisited it, and it is a bit more unique than I was thinking versus most of the photos that are there.
I love it. I think it's a beautiful scene. The snow adds, the rocks are great, the house is great, except for the fact that the house is dead center in the image.
Yeah,
We discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
That just really bothers me.
It's a hard place to get any sort of composition from in terms of alternatives. It's almost every image I see of this place is that, and that's why it's kind of, I found it hard, which is why I want to see what you think. I should also point out that by the time this was my last stop of a frustrating day, there were so many tourists around where I'd been during the day, and I wasn't very inspired to make photographs at this point. So and when I was talking to Richard about this, I put it up and I was talking about it, and you could tell I didn't really like this picture very much because it isn't mine. I would have taken this picture if I'd been the first time you'd visited it, but it's a picture that everybody takes, like of the waterfalls and stuff around the country. So,
But yeah, you can make this yours though.
Yeah, but there's no cars in it. You can get rid of those trash bins. I mean,
yeah,
this is very unique for this very commonly shot image. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree.
The light was quite good. To be fair, I got a good bit of light during the time I was there. It's it's the middle of the winter and we get the low light there. So in the summertime, the light is actually in front of you. It's up high, even at night. So you wouldn't get the light that I've got here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out some way to get that house out of the bullseye.
You've got to keep the mountain on the left. That's the famous one.
The mountain on the left is the famous the volcano.
Well, there's two. There's the glacier right at the back, just above the house. You can see that's the big volcano, and then this is a small volcano on the left.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that sometimes you have no choice.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be back there next week, and we're staying just around the corner from here next week. I don't think it's as snowy there at the moment, but I want to play around a bit more there. I literally stopped at a viewpoint, took a picture, and kind of went, I'm going home now because I'd had enough that day. So it needs more time.
All right, let's try something a little bit different. 7x5.
I would say I haven't finished what I would edit on this. I kind of just stopped after a period of time. It's one of the reasons I put it in here, to be kind of looked at rather than a finished image, because I want to get rid of the bins out of it and stuff.
But I twisted his arm.
You did?
Yeah.
And you know what? I've revisited it a few times since we spoke, and I like it. I do like it because I Googled and I've searched. There's no one else who's got that light, got that weather, or got that winter. And
see, I like that a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't. These rocks on the right distracted me.
Don't get me wrong. I like the rocks. The only problem that irritates me is that house being dead center. Okay.
I'm just going to Google whilst we're talking, just because I want to see what some of the other compositions are. Why did some people are further down? I couldn't get down to the water at all, not in the winter, but people go down to the water and take pictures of this. Honest happy. So Google of images.
Well, regardless, if you're going to make a website and you want to showcase your images, you don't need high resolution.
No, you don't. Richard is absolutely correct. All right. Well, the image itself is stunning. The exposure is just dead on. The contrasts are amazing. I mean, I can't think of anything that I would suggest doing for editing.
Okay.
It's a very well done and processed image.
Thank you.
Okay, but it's this that really bothers me.
Hey, there's content aware move.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
I know you are.
If you Google, can you Google on your screen there?
Yeah. Hold on.
This is just a reason I want to do this, because I just think
What should I be checking?
if you type in ARNASTAPI,
That's it?
yeah. If you go to Google Images, oh, hang on, I've misspelled that. AR. So yeah, AR. There we go. Showing results for Arnastapi. Is that right?
Yeah.
You hit images.
Yeah. If you hit the images there, you'll see. You should be able to see anyway.
Okay, you're on searching everything. Oh, I see where you're going.
Can you see the images?
There we go.
I mean, there's a lot to photograph here. I intend to spend a bit more time. There's arches and rocks and formations. I've got some photos of these other things, but they're not. I don't like them very much. What I've got so far, but you can see the house at the. What is it called? This place? I can never remember what it's called. Is it a farm? I never remember what it's called. That building.
Where?
Oh, house. Type in house afterwards, Mark, and you'll see all the compositions that people have. If you put house in.
Hey, James, everybody in Scotland must be a fantastic speller.
I like that view from the ocean.
Yeah.
Now, where were you standing? Is there some place it shows here?
Yes.
We found it the other day, didn't we?
Yes.
I can't see it now. I was restricted because of the conditions being winter. You can't get down to the lower points or the further off points where these other ones are. Aha, here we go. Yeah. Can I see your screen, Mark? I can't quite. If you say something so I can see.
1, 2, 3, 4 rows down and 5 over. There, click.
Let me have a look. I can't see it.
Hold on.
No, that's not it.
No. Let me just Mark. If you could you talk whilst you're looking at the images?
Sure, yeah. How's this?
Yeah. If you go back to the image list, you can. I've found one that you can see it on. Hang on.
Okay.
Keep going.
Alrighty.
You see the one with the road on the left, third row down?
Yes.
Click
Yeah.
that. You got that? Click that.
Good God, it just started pouring here.
Can you see you see the road on the left, the platform that's there, that wooden platform?
Oh.
That's the viewing point when you can't access anywhere else. So when I was there, this road was totally closed off. It goes down to the harbour where you can get other photos, but that's totally closed. All the walkways around the back were closed. The seafront was closed. So you can get other compositions there, but when you're restricted, like to the conditions, that is the platform you have to go to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's that situation with the bear again. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got no choice.
Yeah.
I do love your image. Oh my goodness, do I? I just wish that there was some easy way to capture this with the house not being dead center.
Well, I'll go and try and do that next time. I'll be there next week, and let me see if I can do that. That's my challenge.
Yeah, and if you want to see this is a 6:9 crop. This is what your film camera is going to see.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you can do things like this at that location. Okay, you can go the other way at that location. I would spend a lot of time working this every different way you could think of. Of course, getting the clouds and the snow may not be possible, but
And the light.
To be honest, I would say out of every 10 days, you don't see the glacier in the background on probably 9 of them. So it's hard, even in the summer. So it's one of those locations where
Gotcha.
You'd have to go back quite a lot of times to see it. Oh, there is a nice one on Google there. That's quite nice.
Stunning, stunning, stunning work. All of your images are really good. But you need to start thinking more in terms of shooting horizontally and vertical for every shot you take. You're using a tripod here, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I can't. All right.
Yeah. I use a tripod the most of the time. I very rarely handhold for full on landscape work.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. You go out into the boonies of Iceland and you're by yourself. What do you do if you slide off the road or you break down out in these wilds?
I'm a member of a breakdown service that's very good here, or recovery service, and we have an app on our phone where you can, if I go off somewhere slightly off the beaten track, which I've done, you can notify them. You can send them a message, and they're aware that you're off somewhere, and if they need your help, they can track you to it. So we've got things there. You just have to be very careful, and also you have to. I mean, it's been happening a lot in the last 2 weeks. You have to be extremely on top of the conditions and checking the road website and the weather website.
Yeah.
And the simple answer is you don't go out if the conditions are not good. There's just no point in risking it.
You guys all have 4-wheel drives?
Yeah, not everybody does. You see, there's a lot of tourists here at the moment who are just in little hire cars getting stuck out even on the major roads around this part of the country are impassable in some parts of the winter. So yeah, people are coming here totally unprepared. I've seen plenty of people stuck. I've got a 4x4, but not everybody has.
You have good cell phone service, so if you get stuck, you can reach someone.
Yeah, there's a few places that I visit where there isn't much cell phone service, but as long as you let people know where you're going and when you're expecting to be and where, you're generally okay. I mean, you have to be pretty careful going off the beaten track here, and making sure you're doing it properly.
Okay. Excellent job. Great images.
Thank you.
Done. I am going to, if I can get home, it is just pouring out here now. We've been supposed to getting really that winter storm that's moving across the eastern part of the country. We were supposed to have that yesterday and it didn't hit. But
we've just had 2 weeks of storms. I haven't been able to, honestly, not even get out of the house to get photos I haven't been able to take my camera out for 2 whole weeks.
Okay. So I'm going to delete your images off my computer. Move to trash. And there they are gone. Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
And I have to tell you, your work is improving by leaps and bounds. You're going to be a real photographic monster.
I hope so.
Going to be.
I'm really enjoying it. It's what I want to do, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, in Sphere 1, I think we'll concentrate more on helping you create your business plan.
Great.
That you have to look out for when you're running workshops.
Yeah.
Ways to improve communication with your customers and how much to charge too. That's a biggie. How to charge. Okay. But yeah, I can see you doing quite well in this. Well, congratulations. I'm going to move you up here in a short while.
Great.
But
Thank
like I said, remember, you're going to drop off the edge of the world. You get dropped into a holding zone where you can talk with other people that are dropped off. Although I doubt there will be anybody else in there with you.
That's cool. No, I'll go straight through it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let me stop the live part.